Hey there gardeners, I wanted to go over very quickly the newest banana addition to my garden. Now this is the first banana plant that I have actually purchased, and the reason that I went out and bought one is because I saw a great little video on TikTok, I don't even know who did it, basically talking about the Red Dacca banana. And what really caught my attention was them saying that it tasted kind of like a vanilla / mango banana. I love mangoes and I immediately went, you know what? That sounds awesome. I do want to get a couple more bananas in the garden. We're in northern New South Wales near the coast, so we're not quite up to Queensland level, but it is, from what I understand, a pretty good location to put in bananas. And as a result, I basically went, you know what? When I see one, I'm going to buy one. Even better news, I then saw the fruit tree fella in Kendall had some Red Dacca bananas for sale. I think he also had some blue Java perhaps as well. But yeah, so he had them available, so I head along and picked one up really quickly. The kind of interesting thing about this particular banana isn't so much the banana itself, which we've got in quite successfully. It's that when I was clearing out a bit of ground for it and digging a hole and putting some soil down and stuff like that, I actually discovered a baby red-bellied black snake. So they are endemic to the area. They are quite poisonous. They are not particularly aggressive, I would say. They're known to be fairly docile, unlike, say, brown snakes, which are much more aggressive in comparison. I was hand weeding behind me because we've got a whole heap of bromeliads here, which will eventually be covered quite nicely by this new dwarf Red Dacca, which even as a dwarf grows to, I think, 3 to 6 meters, so still quite large. But yeah, I was hand weeding and noticed a little baby snake, which was probably this long, maybe the size of my little finger there as far as thickness. And I went, oh, that's a little bit of a worry. You definitely don't want to get bitten by a red belly. While they're not the most aggressive, they still are poisonous. You could die, just not worth getting bitten. So once that happened, basically what I decided to do is I dug my hole. I was a lot more careful. I stopped pulling all the grass out from around the bromeliads, and we put the soil in, got our banana planted, and we were good to go. So I'm really happy with this location. It's kind of on the edge of our driveway. I think it's a great spot for a banana. There's room for it to expand. It'll shade my bromeliads, as I mentioned, which is really good for them. And it's just a little bit of an eye-catching piece to our garden. What else is there to talk about? Well, we did notice that when we put the soil in and built up a bit of a bed for this particular banana, the little baby red-bellied black snake stuck its head out and had a good look at us. I did get a little bit of footage of that. I actually just chucked a GoPro looking at the area, and I was quite surprised to see that little guy having a bit of a kind of stroll around, I guess you'd say, or a slither around. Since I put down a bit of mulch, I haven't seen him. Obviously, one of the big things I did quickly realize was when it was the black soil that was down, he was quite happy poking his head out. With the hay mulch, which is obviously a whitey yellow mulch, he probably doesn't want to stick his head out. We have so many birds of prey around here. We've got butcher birds, we've got kookaburras, we've even got kestrels, goshawks, wedge-tailed eagles. He would be a real target, and so I haven't seen him in quite a while. I'm not sure if he got picked up by one of those things, but there are some little holes around in kind of the underbush which have clearly been used by something, perhaps a snake. And so I do like to think that perhaps he is still alive, although it's one of those things where you probably wouldn't mind if they got eaten by a bird and, you know, continued the circle of life. Either way, cool little story for my dwarf Red Dacca banana. It's now planted, it's in the ground, it's good to go. I'm keeping an eye on it. We've got this one nice big new leaf that has appeared in the last week. I damaged one of the leaves, unfortunately, putting it in, but it's going pretty well. I'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully in no time at all we'll have some bananas or some little pups coming off this one so that I can get a few more growing, which should be great as well. So there you go. Interesting story about a dwarf Red Dacca banana and a red-bellied black snake.